Hello and welcome to Provoking Tech. I'm Zach, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the USB C Hub by RocketTek that's available on Amazon for $25. So guys, without further delay, let's go ahead and jump right to it. Alright, so I'm going to begin by going over the input and output ports of this hub. So of course you plug the hub itself into the USB-C port of your device, whether that be a laptop, a tablet, a 2-in-1, or even a phone. I have only tested the phone part on the Samsung S9, but it actually works very good, and I'll get to that here in a bit. So on the front of the device, dead center, you have a full-sized HDMI port. This will give your device a full-sized HDMI regardless of whether it has one in the first place. A lot of 2-in-1 devices are forgoing the full-size HDMI for one of the smaller variants, the micro or the mini HDMI, so you have to buy an adapter. And if you're like me, you probably have 5 or 6 or more HDMI cables laying around in your storage, but don't have any of the specialty cables that some of these devices are starting to go to. So this will give your device a full-size HDMI, which is pretty cool, and it actually does work very good on the Samsung phone, but I'll cover that here in a bit. And I'm actually going to have a full video kind of talking about the Samsung DeX experience, which this is actually fully compatible with, but I'll elaborate more on the phone part of this here in a bit. Over here off the side, you have a USB-A port. So this will allow you to connect your standard devices, mice, keyboards, so on and so forth. A lot of devices use the USB port, so it'd be very cool to have an extra one and to still be able to utilize both the HDMI and the USB-A port concurrently. Over here to the side, you do have another USB-C port. This is a female port. This is not for expanding to even further devices. You can't chain hubs, at least as far as I'm aware, but this will allow you to plug a power cord into this hub, and that'll allow your device to charge. If your device does support charging over USB-C, the Acer laptop that I have only uses USB-C for like a USB hub or display output. It does not support charging over USB-C, which is pretty sad and quite annoying. But if your device does support charging over USB-C, like your phone, this will actually allow you to charge your phone while outputting video and using like a mouse or keyboard at the same time. That is very cool. So in terms of build quality, I was actually very happy with this device. For a $25 device, I was expecting a much lower quality of a hub. I didn't expect it to last nearly as long. In fact, I was actually so surprised with the build quality, I decided to do some drop tests. So in my house, I have some stairs that go from the upstairs, and there's a ledge. Then you go around the stairs and you come down to the downstairs, and it has a tile floor in the downstairs. So it's about a 12-foot drop maybe from the top of the ledge, because there's a railing around it. So if I set the device up there and I just push it off, because sometimes I do store stuff on there like my keys and my wallet, and every once in a while the kids get a little rambunctious and knock stuff off. So I did about 5 or 6 drop tests, and the device still works flawlessly. No issues there. There were a couple little dings. I don't know if you guys can see those, couple of dings in there, but the body itself, I think it's made of aluminum, very sturdy, very well made. The cable itself has a nice wear relief, so that it doesn't fray at the connection port. The only thing I would really change about the device in terms of build quality is simply make the cable just a hair longer. If you are plugging it into your laptop and it's sitting there hanging, it is going to be hanging from your device. If your device, it has ports along the vertical, so like most 2-in-1s have all the ports in the screen, and the keyboard is just something you can detach like the Microsoft Surface. I have the Acer Switch 3 that I'm testing now. A very cool device, but this device does sit there and hang. So I'm worried about over a period of time, it might put a little too much strain on the cable possibly, or even the port itself. So that is one thing I'm possibly concerned about with this device. I do wish it had a little bit longer cable, but all in all, a very good build quality. It survived my testing so far, and I am very hard on electronics. So in a year, if the thing is still functioning, I have to give it 5+ stars, because if something survives that long with me, that means it does have a pretty good build quality, especially if it's going to be something that I'm going to be using on a very regular basis and putting it in my bag that I carry back and forth to work every single day. All right, so to begin to wrap up this video, I'm going to discuss the 2 different experiences I had with this USB C Hub. So the first of which is on my Windows 2-in-1 device by Acer. On that, I tried plugging in the USB hub, followed by the HDMI port, and then my wired mouse that I was using to test. everything worked flawless. And I did try plugging things in different orders, such as the video first, then the mouse, then the hub to the device. Every order that I tried, everything worked flawless. It does take the video a couple seconds to come up, but once it comes up, I had no transmission issues. They never cut out or anything along those lines. So a very flawless experience, no matter what order I connected to. And I never actually plugged in the USB-C power because this device doesn't support charging over power, and the device itself can output enough power to drive the display cable as well as the USB mouse, which was a LED mouse, so it did have some extra light, so it was going to draw a little bit more power than a normal wired mouse. So it was very cool that I didn't actually have to plug in a separate cable to this hub. Now on the Android side, there are a couple considerations to keep in mind. I did try plugging things in different orders, and there are some issues there. The best order that I found that things worked first time, every time, was plugging in the display, whatever device you're using in the USB-A port. So if you're using a mouse keyboard combo, which is what I would suggest, or just a wired mouse, depending on what you're using, if you plug those two devices in first and then plug the hub into your phone, you'll have a very good experience. Regardless of what order you plug in your devices, with Android, you always have to have the USB-C power port connected to a power device. I always used a wall wart, but it might be possible to use one of those USB battery banks. I did not test that, but it might actually be a possibility. Now, the only exception to that rule, though, is if you don't care about the video output, the USB-A port will work without an external power. So do keep that in mind. If you just want to connect a keyboard and mouse, you can do that without external power, but you will not get video output unless you connect that USB-C port. And the best order that I found is to connect everything first and then connect the hub to your device. So whenever you connect the hub to your device, at least with the Samsung S9 that I did my testing on, it'll ask if you want to simply mirror your screen, so to essentially mirror your phone screen onto a device, or if you actually want to enter into DeX mode. So I actually entered into DeX mode and was actually very pleasantly surprised with the experience. It is very polished. I do think DeX is over a year old now because it launched with the S8, so they probably have had some time to polish it. But all in all, it was a very good experience. So I'm actually going to have a video series on using the DeX mode on the phone and how close your phone can actually be to a laptop replacement. Of course, that's going to heavily depend on your workflow. For example, I love having multiple displays, and that is something that's just simply not feasible with phones yet. But if you are someone that's content with just having one device or just using this as kind of a media hub, I'm going to be interested in trying that out. So all in all, I'm going to be very interested in trying out DeX, but it works very good so far for my testing. I would highly recommend this device. It's only $25 and it's much cheaper than the native Samsung DeX. Of course, it doesn't have any built-in cooling, but for my testing, even over an hour, my phone didn't get hot. So whether you need that or not might kind of be depending upon your usage. I don't do a ton of local computing. I was actually utilizing cloud computing in some of that, and things worked very good. I had a full Windows environment from my phone, which is an interesting endeavor to say the least. So all in all, a very good device. I was very pleasantly surprised with both the Windows and the Android experience. The only thing to keep in mind is if you want video out on the Android experience, you must plug in that USB-C power. But pretty much every phone I've ever tried does support charging over USB-C, unlike my Acer laptop. So it will charge your phone at the same time. So you'll be able to charge your phone, have an external monitor of your phone in the DeX experience, and use a mouse and keyboard combo all at the same time, which is very impressive for what we're able to do with phones at this point in time now. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and found it both enjoyable or informative, and maybe even both at the same time, give it a big like. I do greatly appreciate that, guys. Also, if you're not already an existing subscriber, stay tuned and make sure you smash that subscribe button, because there will be more videos on this hub focusing on the Samsung DeX experience in the near future. So guys, thanks for watching once again, and until next time, Zach out.